Daddy, help me. 5-year-old Danny burned with fever as Michael rushed him to the emergency room. The doctor walked in, turned around, and Michael's heart stopped. It was Sarah, his lost love who vanished 6 years ago. But the real shock came when she whispered, "He's our son." Before watching full story, comment below from where you watching. Also like and subscribe for more stories. Michael Carter's hands shook as he carried his 5-year-old son Danny through the emergency room doors. The boy's fever had spiked to 104 degrees an hour ago, and he'd been vomiting all night. As a single father working construction, Michael couldn't afford to lose time from work, but Danny's health came first. "Always, please help my son," Michael called out to the receptionist, his voice cracking with desperation. The triage nurse quickly assessed Danny and rushed them to an examination room. "The pediatric doctor will be right in," she assured Michael, who was pacing frantically beside his son's bed. Danny lay pale and listless, his small body burning with fever. Michael smoothed his son's sweaty hair back, whispering reassurances he wasn't sure he believed himself. "It's going to be okay, buddy. The doctor will make you feel better." The door opened and Michael looked up expecting to see an older male doctor. Instead, a young woman in a white coat entered, her blonde hair pulled back in a professional ponytail. When she turned around, Michael's world stopped. "Hello, I'm Dr. Sarah Johnson and I'll be..." She froze mid-sentence, her clipboard clattering to the floor. Michael stared in complete shock. It was Sarah. Is Sarah. The woman who had disappeared from his life 6 years ago without a word, leaving him heartbroken and alone. The woman he'd searched for desperately before giving up hope. The woman whose memory still haunted his dreams. "Michael." Sarah's voice was barely a whisper, her face going pale. "Daddy, who is the pretty doctor?" Danny asked weakly from the bed, breaking the terrible silence. Michael snapped back to reality. His son needed medical attention, regardless of the impossible situation unfolding before him. "This is Dr. Johnson, Danny. She's going to help you feel better." Michael's voice was strained but steady. Sarah quickly composed herself, her professional training taking over. She approached Danny's bedside, avoiding eye contact with Michael. "Hi Danny, I'm Dr. Sarah. Can you tell me how you're feeling?" Her voice was gentle and caring as she began examining the boy. "My tummy hurts really bad and I feel hot," Danny whispered. Sarah conducted a thorough examination while Michael watched in stunned silence. Despite everything between them, he could see she was an excellent doctor. Her hands were gentle, her manner reassuring, and Danny seemed to trust her immediately. "I need to run some tests," Sarah said, finally meeting Michael's eyes briefly. "It looks like severe gastroenteritis, but I want to make sure it's nothing more serious." "Is he going to be okay?" Michael asked, his voice breaking. "I'll take good care of him," Sarah promised, and Michael heard something deeper in her words. While Danny was taken for blood work and scans, Michael and Sarah found themselves alone in the hallway. The silence stretched between them like a chasm. 6 years, Michael said finally. 6 years with no word, no explanation. "I looked for you everywhere, Sarah." Sarah's eyes filled with tears. "Michael, I don't need excuses," Michael interrupted, though his voice wasn't angry, just tired. "I just need to know my son is going to be okay." "He's your son?" Sarah asked, something strange in her voice. "Yes. Danny is everything to me." Michael's voice softened with love and pride. Sarah was quiet for a long moment, studying Michael's face. "How old is he?" "5. He'll be 6 in 2 months." Michael frowned at the odd question. "Why?" Sarah's face went even paler and she gripped the wall for support. "Michael, we need to talk. But first, let me finish taking care of Danny." The next hour felt like an eternity. Sarah returned with test results showing Danny had a severe stomach virus that required 4 fluids and medication. As she worked to get Danny comfortable, Michael noticed how naturally she interacted with his son, how Danny seemed drawn to her despite feeling terrible. "Dr. Sarah, you're really nice," Danny mumbled as the medication began to make him drowsy. "Thank you, sweetheart. You're a very brave boy," Sarah replied, stroking his forehead gently. Michael's heart clenched watching them together. There was something about the way Sarah looked at Danny, a tenderness that went beyond professional care. Once Danny was stable and sleeping, Sarah asked Michael to step outside with her. "Michael, I need to tell you something and I don't know how to say it." Sarah's hands were trembling. "Just say it, Sarah. After 6 years of wondering, I think I can handle whatever truth you have." Sarah took a shaky breath. "When I left 6 years ago, I was pregnant." Michael felt like he'd been punched in the stomach. "What?" "I found out 3 days after we had that big fight about your job, about moving in together." I was scared and overwhelmed. I was still in medical school, barely able to support myself, and you were struggling too. You were pregnant and you didn't tell me? Michael's voice rose, then he caught himself and lowered it. Sarah, how could you not tell me? I thought I was protecting you. You had so many dreams, so many plans. I didn't want to trap you. Trap me? Sarah, I loved you. I would have. Michael stopped, realization hitting him like a freight train. Wait, you said you were pregnant 6 years ago. Danny is 5. Sarah nodded, tears streaming down her face. Michael, Danny is our son. The world tilted on its axis. Michael grabbed the wall to steady himself. That's impossible. Danny's mother died in childbirth. I have documents, a death certificate. No, Michael. Listen to me. Sarah's voice was urgent now. I gave birth to Danny, but there were complications. I hemorrhaged badly and was unconscious for days. When I woke up, I was told the baby had been given to his father because I was listed as unable to care for him due to my medical condition. Michael's mind reeled. But the social worker said his mother had died. There must have been a mistake in the paperwork, or someone made an assumption. Michael, I've been looking for my son for 5 years. I became a pediatrician hoping that somehow, someday I might find him. Michael sank into a nearby chair, overwhelmed. You're telling me that Sarah, the woman I loved and lost, is Danny's mother? That you've been alive all this time? I tried to find you both. I hired investigators, searched databases, but you'd moved, changed jobs. It was like you'd disappeared. Sarah knelt beside his chair. Michael, the moment I saw Danny tonight, I knew. He has your eyes but my smile. He looks exactly like I did as a child. This is insane, Michael whispered, running his hands through his hair. For 5 years I've been telling Danny his mother was an angel watching over him. Maybe I was, Sarah said softly. Maybe this is how I was meant to find you both. They sat in silence for several minutes, both trying to process the magnitude of what had been revealed. What happens now? Michael asked finally. I don't know, Sarah admitted. I know I have no right to expect anything. You've raised him alone, you're his father in every way that matters. But Michael, he's my son too, and I've missed 5 years of his life. He needs to know, Michael said quietly. When he's better, when this is all over, Danny needs to know the truth. Are you sure? I don't want to disrupt his life or confuse him. Michael looked through the window at Danny sleeping peacefully. He asks about his mother all the time. He deserves to know she's not just a memory or a story I tell him. Sarah began crying again. I've dreamed of this moment for so long, but I never imagined it would happen like this. Life has a funny way of surprising us, Michael said, his voice still dazed. Over the next 2 days, while Danny recovered in the hospital, Michael and Sarah spent countless hours talking. They shared stories about Danny's first 5 years, Michael's memories of sleepless nights, first words, first steps, first day of school, and Sarah's anguish at missing all of it. He loves dinosaurs, Michael told her. Has about 50 toy dinosaurs and can pronounce all their names perfectly. Sarah laughed through her tears. I loved dinosaurs as a kid too. I wanted to be a paleontologist before I decided on medicine. And he's incredibly smart. Reads at a 2nd grade level already and asks the most amazing questions about everything. Tell me about his personality, Sarah begged. He's kind just like you were. Last month he used his allowance to buy food for a homeless man. And he's brave. He was terrified of the dark, but he conquered it by pretending to be a brave knight every night. The more they talked, the more Sarah could see herself in their son, and the more Michael realized how much Danny had missed by not having his mother. On the 2nd day, Danny was feeling much better and had begun asking questions about why Dr. Sarah kept visiting when other doctors didn't. Daddy, why does Dr. Sarah look sad when she looks at me? Danny asked with the startling perceptiveness that children often possess. Michael and Sarah exchanged glances. They had agreed to tell him the truth, but finding the right words seemed impossible. Danny, Michael began carefully, Dr. Sarah is sad because she lost someone very important to her a long time ago. Who did she lose? Danny asked, his eyes wide with sympathy. Sarah knelt beside his bed, her heart pounding. I lost my little boy when he was just a baby. I've been looking for him for a very long time. Danny's face scrunched up in concentration. That's really sad. Did you find him? Yes, Sarah whispered, tears flowing freely now. I found him. Danny, sweetheart, you're my little boy. I'm your mommy. Danny stared at her for a long moment, processing this information with the seriousness only children can muster. But Daddy said my mommy was in heaven, Danny said, looking confused. Daddy thought I was in heaven because we got separated when you were born, Sarah explained gently. But I'm here now and I love you so very much. Danny looked back and forth between his father and Sarah. So you're my real mommy? Not just my doctor? I'm both, Sarah said, smiling through her tears. I'm your mommy who happens to be a doctor. Cool. Danny exclaimed, then grew thoughtful again. Does this mean you can live with us now? I always wanted a mommy. Michael and Sarah looked at each other uncertainly. They had been so focused on telling Danny the truth that they hadn't discussed what came next. That's something your daddy and I need to talk about, Sarah said carefully. I think it would be awesome, Danny declared. Then I'd have a mommy and a daddy and you could take care of me when I'm sick. That evening, after Danny had fallen asleep, Michael and Sarah walked to the hospital cafeteria to talk privately. He took it better than I expected, Michael said, still amazed by his son's resilience. Children are incredibly adaptable, Sarah agreed. But Michael, I want you to know that I don't expect anything. You've been an amazing father and I don't want to disrupt the life you've built together. Sarah, 5 years ago I was heartbroken when you disappeared. I thought you had decided I wasn't good enough, that our love wasn't strong enough. Learning the truth changes everything. What are you saying? Michael took her hands across the table. I'm saying that I never stopped loving you. I convinced myself I had, but seeing you again, watching you with Danny, I realized those feelings never went away. Michael, so much has changed. We're different people now. Are we? You're still the compassionate, brilliant woman I fell in love with. You're just a doctor now instead of a medical student. And I'm still the man who would do anything for the people he loves. I'm just a father now too. What about Danny? What if this confuses him or hurts him? Danny has been asking for a mother his entire life. And not just any mother, he's been asking for you even though he didn't know it. Michael squeezed her hands. Sarah, we've been given a second chance. All three of us. It would be crazy not to take it. Sarah was quiet for a long time, tears streaming down her face. I've missed so much of his life, Michael. 5 years of birthdays and bedtime stories and scraped knees. How do I make up for that? You don't make up for it, Michael said gently. You start from where we are now and build forward. Danny doesn't need you to erase the past, he needs you to be part of his future. Are you sure? Really sure? Sarah, when I carried Danny through those emergency room doors 3 days ago, I was terrified I might lose the most important person in my world. I never imagined I'd find the second most important person instead. Sarah began crying harder, but now they were tears of joy mixed with the grief of lost time. I want to try, she whispered. I want to be his mother and see if we can be a family. Then we'll take it one day at a time, Michael promised. 6 months later, the three of them stood in a small chapel surrounded by friends and family. Danny, now fully recovered and thriving, proudly served as ring bearer for his parents' wedding. Do you, Michael, take Sarah to be your wife, and do you, Sarah, take Michael to be your husband? The minister asked. We do, they said in unison, then laughed at their simultaneous response. And Danny, the minister continued with a smile, do you take Michael and Sarah to be your married parents? I do. Danny shouted enthusiastically, making everyone laugh. As they exchanged rings, Sarah whispered to Michael, thank you for giving me the chance to be his mother. Thank you for giving me the chance to love you again, Michael whispered back. Danny tugged on both their hands. Can we have cake now? And can we go home? All three of us together? Yes, sweetheart, Sarah said, kneeling down to hug her son. We're going home together. All three of us, forever. As they walked down the aisle as a family, Michael marveled at how a terrifying night in the emergency room had led to the greatest miracle of his life. Sometimes the worst moments can lead to the most beautiful beginnings, and sometimes the people we think we've lost forever are just waiting for the right moment to come home.